Competition!
Hey YouTube, Dogmagician84 here, and I thought I'd do a wrap-up video for my tournament challenge thing, since I technically finally finished it last night. Well, at the time of recording anyway, it will have been. So, yeah, most of the Epic Elite decks were more successful than others, I would say. Yeah. Let's recap. So, overall, Red Eyes Black Dragon, Dark Magician, Rainbow Neos, Elemental Hero Divine Neos, Supreme Kings, and Galaxy Photons basically did the best out of all of them. Whereas Cyberse and Black Wings did the second best. I guess Destiny here is the third best, due to the fact that that was the deck that took down Endymion. It did the one thing none of my other decks were able to do. Well, outside of endurance. Meanwhile, Blue Eyes and Rockets, and I guess Speedroids technically did the worst, although Speedroids did make up for that in a Royal Rumble, which I'll talk about a bit later on. Whereas Raid Raptors and Elemental Heroes sadly did the second worst, whereas the others were kind of in between. Let's just do a recap, and you know, relive the road to well, the end of it. That was brilliantly worded. Good job, Richie. So, first up were Red Eyes Black Dragon, all the way back in July. After a few months of planning, I basically decided to commence this with the start with the Pegasus Challenge tournament. That was at Dead Uni. But yeah, I thought about doing this challenge like quite early on last year. Now, although I have retired from tournaments, I wanted to make an exception and do this challenge and see how far I got with the absolute best decks I have. Now, originally there were just 16, one of which I currently don't have, which is Noble Knights, so I wasn't able to include them because I don't have the deck in real life anymore. So it started with Dark Magician, Elemental Heroes, and Rainbow Neos, my signature 3. Blue Eyes White Dragon, Red Eyes Black Dragon, Elemental Hero Divine Neos, Destiny Heroes, Evil Heroes, Cyberse, Rockets, Black Wings, Raid Raptors, Yugi Gadgets, Speedroids, and Supreme Kings. Although, further on down the line, 4 other decks proved their worth. Galaxy Photons, despite the fact that it does brick a lot of the time, it's kind of annoying. It's like either I open the nuts and just go off, or I just brick and auto lose. The other ones being Utopia, and a couple of new decks, like Hands of Danger, which is, well, was a new creation of mine, and Fire Kings. yeah, they definitely proved themselves. So anyway, as I was saying, Red Eyes was up first in the Pegasus Challenge tournament at Dead Uni, and I just went undefeated. Well, mostly because every single match I had did go to a third game. I managed to get through Performer Pals, then Gimmick Puppets, but barely, because Dragoon caused me problems in game 1, and so did Zeus. Then I won in an insane way. Me and Giorgio ended up swapping extra decks, which was nuts. Which would have been a problem for me, except I'd already established a decent board, and I was able to use his own Zeus against him, which was nuts. Then finally there was Marley with Madolches. Now, I would have struggled, but throughout the match we were under the condition where we had to start with one card. So basically it was a top deck match, which just went to a third game, but I was the lucky one, and yeah, Red Eyes pulled through. Yeah, that tournament victory, like I said, proved that I don't need a degenerate piece of shit like Red Eyes Dark Dragoon to win games and tournaments. So yeah, my Red Eyes deck is perfectly capable of winning games without Dragoon. It may not happen all the time, but even so, regardless, I don't need Dragoon, nor do I want Dragoon. Like, in fact, I would rather scrub out and lose all my games than play my most hated card in the game. Anyway, next up was Raid Raptors, which I was hoping to do better with than the previous time I used them back in 2018. I really didn't. Like, 2 losses, 2 draws, and a bye win. Wasn't great. My losses were against True Draco and Madolches, although I was able to take the Madolche match to a third game thanks to Revolution Falcon, my favourite Raid Raptor. As for the draws, I know one of them was against Unchained, but I can't actually remember what the other one was against. Actually, I'll tell you what, I can actually look this up really quick. Yeah, it was just disappointing. I did even worse than the previous time. I mean, at least I won like a couple of games when I played it previously in 2018. Oh yeah, I remember. It was against Josh with Zombie fucking Horde. A deck that I really hate and just don't enjoy playing against. Like, Doom King, Zombie World, and Rivalry are just absolute bullshit and completely unfair. But somehow I was able to make it a draw. Then Elemental Heroes were up and they didn't fare any better. 2 losses, 1 draw, 1 bye win. The losses being against fucking Invoked Shadol, another deck that I despise. Then a Tri-Brigade, which I'm not exactly a fan of. And then there was the draw against Sky Strikers, piloted by Noah. That's still the only time we've played each other. Mind you, it did have a ridiculous yet epic moment in game 2 where I was just trying to beat him down with King of the Swamp, but I was able to make it a draw. If anything, I was just more upset than disappointed that I did so badly, considering that Elemental Heroes are my second favourite deck. I basically gave up on the challenge after that and just quit tournaments again, just because the meta and there can only be one just really pissed me off. Along with the fact that just in general I was having a really bad week. Of course, that being said, it didn't stop me having a fun Pegasus Challenge tournament of my own with Express Gaming. That was pretty cool. I decided to make it count towards the challenge, kind of. So I used Hands of Danger, newly built, Cyberse, Blue Eyes White Dragon, and Rockets. He had Hands, Egyptian Gods, Dark Magician, and whatever it was that Cyberse beat. Can't actually remember. I know his Dark Magician deck beat Rockets, whereas my Hands of Danger deck beat the Egyptian Gods. Oh yeah, it was Lunar Lights. Okay, I don't know how I managed to beat Lunar Lights with Cyberse. Mind you, it was a while ago. And Blue Eyes just struggled against his hand deck, partially because of there can only be one, and the fact that I didn't have a good hand in the last game. Semi-finals, Cyberse was somehow able to overcome Dark Magician, despite the fact that using Avramax's spin effect on Dragoon backfired. Yeah, I was able to bait and negate and then use Avramax to spin Dragoon back, and then in the same duel he played Red Eyes Fusion, which did throw me off at first, and I was like, wait, you have a second Dragoon? I thought you only had one. Oh no way, I spun it back to the deck. No! So yeah, doing that backfired, but it didn't matter because I was able to win the match. Then we had a hand mirror match, and one of the negative rules that we put in just backfired against me, and we ended up swapping main decks, and my own danger monsters were used against me. So Hands won, and then Hands and Cyberse faced off in the final, and I just struggled a lot. Mainly in game 1, there can only be one to stop me from being able to play, and I don't remember how I lost the other game. I guess my hand just wasn't great. So his hand deck won the whole thing. I feel like I lost a lot of those games because the negative effects fucked me over more than it did him. That was unfortunate, but Cyberse did well. And then A couple of months later, like moving on to November, I decided to give tournaments another go. This was actually inspired by the second part of our 2-year anniversary celebration, where I used 4 of my decks at the same time against 4 of Weather's 5s, which I don't know, it wasn't as enjoyable as I would have liked because I couldn't really do anything. I messed up with Dark Magician. Blue Boy got negated by Infinite Impermanence, and then I accidentally played Soul Servant in the same column, completely forgetting that cards in that column would have been negated, and I forgot to attack, which I was kicking myself over. Then I got overwhelmed by the Cyber Darks, and even though I made a comeback with Elemental Heroes, Endymion did me in, like with a field of Endymion himself, Magician's Right Hand, and Secret Village of the Spellcasters. He might have had Jackal King, I can't remember, but when it came to Rainbow Neos, I just scooped. I had no way to overcome his board. Because I had Super Polymerization and an Elemental Hero in hand, more specifically Liquid Soldier, which would have saved me if it wasn't for Magician's Right Hand. Actually, wait, did he have Right Hand? No, I don't think he did. It was just Secret Village. Yeah. Secret Village was what he had. Yeah, I wasn't happy about the way I lost that. Like, yeah, I'm not afraid to say it. Like, he literally only won because of Secret Village. Like, if it wasn't there, I could have turned things around. So, poor old Rainbow Neos and Red Eye's Black Dragon didn't get to play. But at least Plunder Patrols didn't either. Yeah, the reason why I threw Red Eyes in was because there was a plan to have a couple of matches where I'd use my Red Eyes Black Dragon deck and my Elemental Heroes against the Cyber Darks, but that didn't happen, unfortunately. Whether or not it will happen, I don't know. But if anything, this gave me the inspiration to try my luck at tournaments again. So I decided to make a temporary comeback for 2 reasons. A, to finish the tournament challenge, and B, to try and defeat Endymion once and for all, because like, besides endurances, I had never ever been able to beat it. Like, every time I faced it, I just lost 2-1, 2-0, and I was sick and tired of losing to it all the time, and I just wanted to defeat it once and for all. But before I had the chance to do that, me and Express Gaming did another Pegasus challenge, like before Christmas, so quite early on in December, and I used 4 different decks. 3 of them were the Epic Elite ones. One of them was Magician Girls, because I also had a goal to try and win something with Magician Girls. Because it's basically another way of playing Dark Magician, technically, even though it only plays 1 Dark Magician. Excuse me. I've won plenty of things with Dark Magician in the past, and I felt it was time that Dark Magician's apprentice and her magician girlfriend got the spotlight. So I used those, Black Wings, Utopia and Evil Heroes. Express Gaming brought in Hands again, because it was the reigning champion. Used Dark Magician again, but also brought in Blue Eyes White Dragon and Noble Knights. In match 1, Blue Eyes unfortunately defeated Magician Girls, but only because of skill drain and the fact that I'd already used Twin Twisters on something. So I was basically fucked. I had literally no way to get rid of skill drain. I feel like Quintet would have been my only hope, even though his effect would have been negated, but at least I'd have had a 4500 beat stick. But it didn't happen, and Blue Eyes came out on top. And then, in a battle of the Light Warrior archetype decks, Utopia managed to win. Yeah, I feel like they're both pretty evenly matched. Like I said, both Light Warrior decks, both rely on equips which help out a lot. And Utopia was lucky to come out on top. Then Black Wings managed to beat Dark Magician by pure luck, I might add. I guess Express Gaming just seemed to brick both times, and Dragoon didn't come out, which was fortunate for me. And then Hands got just as unlucky, and Evil Heroes were able to win. Although there can only be one was in play, it didn't actually hurt my Evil Hero deck that much, because I think I play a good balance of warrior and fiend type monsters. So I was quite lucky there. I think Evil Heroes are definitely one of the very few decks I have that there can only be one that doesn't hurt. Because usually I play decks based on one monster type, and they just outright auto lose to there can only be one. In fact, Evil Heroes are one of 3 decks I have that it doesn't hurt, the other 2 being normal pendulums and light rays. That's it. Everything else I have just outright struggles. So champions were dethroned and Evil Heroes went through. So the semi-finals lineup was Black Wings against Utopia and Blue Eyes against Evil Heroes. I decided to let Express Gaming use my Black Wings because I figured they'd be easier for him to play than Evil Heroes and Utopia, and they were. He played them pretty well, and Utopia got unlucky and lost. Because Evil Heroes and Blue Eyes just kept coming at each other. They were pretty evenly matched, but in the end Blue Eyes won, so we were still able to get a final between one of my decks and one of his. So the final was between my Black Wings and his Blue Eyes deck. I would have loved to have shown you this on camera, but unfortunately we had camera issues. Like, all my batteries died, and the video file, or files I should say, just got corrupted. I don't know if this was when the corruption problems on his camera started. It's so annoying. Like, we just don't know why some of the files keep being corrupted. Like, just like the other day. And I used that same camera to record one of the Mad Libs videos, which turned out just fine, but not the other two videos for some reason. I think it may have been because I pressed the power button off before stopping recording by mistake, or taking the battery out preemptively, but I swear I haven't been doing that at all recently. Like I could have sworn I pressed record, pressed stop recording, and then turned the power off. So I don't know, like, maybe it's one of those things that I'm still just doing without thinking. I don't know, but I've tried to be careful, especially since it's not even my camera. What was I going to say? Maybe it's a problem with the SIM card, because the camera itself seems to work fine. Well, I've already gone over the summary on the Team Sorcerers channel, but yeah, skill drain just outright stopped me doing anything in Game 1, Game 2. I couldn't really go off properly, and Blue Eyes was just too overwhelming. So yeah, his Blue Eyes deck won the second Pegasus Challenge tournament, and I feel like, again, negative effects that we both got messed me up more than it did him. Especially in the Magician Gold game. That was unfortunate. Despite that, though, it hasn't stopped me wanting to play in them. No, because I do genuinely enjoy Pegasus Challenge tournaments, and I want to do more of them. But as for the actual locals, the next deck I used was Yugi Gadget, and I did so much better in this one than the other ones. So I was able to win what I thought was a Gadget mirror match with Giorgio, but his was more Earth Machine, whereas I was just playing pure. And then who did I play against next? Oh wait, I remember. It was Weber's 5 and Endymion. And I was doing so well. I almost won both games, but I got robbed of victory at the last moment. Yeah, almost won game 1, but he made his usual OTK board and won that. In game 2, it was a bit back and forth. I got the upper hand and had more life points, but at least I was trying to keep them as high as possible. But excuse me. But unfortunately, he got out a Master Cerberus, which banished one of 2 monsters that I had. Then my Waking the Dragon got popped, keeping in mind they were a few seconds before time on the round was up. I used it to bring out Blue Eyes alternative Ultimate Dragon, but it didn't matter because Master Cerberus had the higher attack. Well, not quite as high as Blue Eyes Ultimates, but he still attacked Utopia the Lightning. I didn't get gamed, but his life points were higher. Yeah, fucked over by end of match procedure. I hate it so much. Like, I almost always lose through end of match procedure. Hence why I hate it so much. And then the third round was against a guy playing Red Eyes. He won game 1 because of Dragoon. I won game 2 because I stopped Dragoon coming out. And then game 3, it ended up going to time, and despite getting hit a couple of times by Magic Cylinder, whose damage was doubled by magical cylinders, I still managed to get my life points just higher and win the match. Now, there was a fourth and final round that night, but I had to drop the round and go because I needed to catch my train. Well, I was fine with the result. I did a lot better than I did with Elementarius and Raid Raptors, so I was happy. Then a week later I used Fire Kings, and there were 3 matches. I managed to win the first one against Drytron, used by Giorgio. He sure loves his machine decks. Then I faced Hesham or Spark Tech with Prank Kids. They weren't fun to deal with. Really didn't want to play against them. I absolutely hate Prank Kids so much. All they ever do is OTK and just disrupt too many plays. I couldn't really do much in game 1. Game 2 I was able to do more Fire King plays, but he was doing more damage to me than what I did to him. Oh yeah, and even though I did get out an Ultimate Falcon, which came out through Waking the Dragon, he was still able to overcome my board and do some damage, which was annoying. And time was running out and my life points were higher, and he was setting up for an OTK, so I just decided to scoop, because I didn't see any point carrying on, and I was thinking, I'm just going to scoop. I refuse to be beaten by Prank Kids and end of match procedure. No way, not going to happen. Yeah, I absolutely refuse to be done in by end of match procedure again, and I didn't want to lose against a deck that I hate. So I just threw in the towel. Third and final round was against Weber's 5 with Endymion again, and Fire Kings did better than I thought. I was able to do a lot of damage and stall him out most of the game. And this one single game took a while. I was getting a bit overwhelmed. I must admit though, I was hoping to try and stall him out for as long as possible and try and get a win for end of match procedure, but that didn't happen. He got past all my defences and won game 1. Game 2 was weird. I couldn't really do any Fire King plays, but I did see a lot of sided cards, so I basically had the exact opposite problem that I had against Endymion before. There were at least 3 matches where I drew no sided cards. This time I drew too many sided cards. But that wasn't necessarily a bad thing. I did get overwhelmed by Endymion and Jackal King, but thankfully I had super polymerization, and I just fused them away and made Starving Venom Fusion Dragon and got the upper hand, got my life points higher, but then time ran out and I couldn't finish him off, so the match ended in a draw. And then there was basically nothing until after Christmas. But when I was able to come back and hang out with Express Gaming and Gamer Central again, me and Express Gaming did a Team Terror tournament thing. Like what I did in the Dark Magician's Deck Grand Championship Extra series last year, where we play matches where we use 3 decks, one different one in every duel. We decided to make it a small one and just use 6 decks each, making up 2 teams each. I had basically my best ones, or at least 2 of them anyway, Team Magician and Team Crystal. Now, Team Magician, of course, normally consists of my 3 signature decks, whereas Team Crystal consists of Magician Girls, Crystal Beasts and Speedroids. However, I didn't have my Crystal Beast deck active, so Galaxy Photons replaced them, and I used Elemental Hero Divine Neos instead of Elemental Heroes, purely because Elemental Heroes had already been. This meant that Supreme Kings and Destiny Heroes would have been left in the tournament challenge, and I was trying to hold off on using Destiny Heroes as much as possible until I could get a DPE. And Kainen's teams were Team Destruction, which was basically his Dark Magician deck, Blue Eyes White Dragon and Bee Troopers, and Team Nobles, which were Noble Knights, Lunar Lights and Hands. In match 1, Team Magician won against Team Destruction. Dark Magician was able to overcome Bee Troopers, and Divine Neos was able to overcome Dark Magician. Oh, and I used Dark Magician Kaiju mode, which wasn't originally the plan. The thing was, I used Dark Magician Kaiju mode for the request where I use my Dark Magician deck against Express Gaming's. But I put in my Kaijus to specifically counter Dragoon. But I decided to keep it as it is, considering that his Dark Magician deck would be in it again, along with Bee Troopers. So yeah, that was that. Of course, I was hoping for Team Crystal to win, but that didn't happen. Magician Girls struggled a bit against Hands. Just when I was able to make a comeback, I was just denied a win by Utopia Double. And then Speedroids took on Noble Knights, and I got absolutely luck sacked. I was able to drop Crystal Wing turn 1, which was pretty much perfect for dealing with Noble Knights, kind of. Also, I thought, and what happens? Drops Regeki. Yeah, one card just ruined my strategy. And then he went off. I couldn't really make a comeback. And Team Nobles beat Team Crystal. But I was not happy about that, because again, Magician Girls failed to win anything, and I was luck-sacked by Regeki. I mean, like I said, that was the only reason Express Gaming won that match. Alright, yeah, I know I get lucky with Regeki as well, but I don't top deck it as much as he does, believe it or not. So the final was Team Magician against Team Nobles. Yeah, that's a thought, and his Blue Eyes deck and my Galaxy Photons didn't even get to play, which was unfortunate. So yeah, game 1, Rainbow Neos was able to get through Noble Knights despite my fear of Morgan, the Enchantress. Thankfully that didn't come up. Then there was a rematch between Dark Magician and Lunar Lights. Leo Dancer did put the pressure on near the end, and unfortunately I didn't have a lot of ways to overcome a Leo Dancer. Mahard was in the graveyard. I don't think I drew into Apprentice Illusion Magician yet, and I had monsters, so Drowning Mirror Force wasn't going to help. But I did have Gamma Seal, or was it Kumongous? I can't remember. Either way, I had a Kaiju. I was able to tribute the Leo Dancer away and win the match and the tournament. Alright, yeah, I only won it because of a Kaiju, but still, a win's a win, and it's one of the only ways I can deal with a Leo Dancer, to be honest. I had to, because Dark Magician decks struggle against monsters with targeting immunity. I can't use Circle on them. None of my rank 4s, 7s rather, can touch a Leo Dancer. Nor, of course, can Mirror Force and Regeki. So it was the only way. What can I say? So yeah, this meant that Dark Magician, Rainbow Neos, and Elemental Hero Divine Neos tied with Red Eyes Black Dragon for the best. And because I didn't have a chance to use Galaxy Photon, I had to use it in something else. But of course, Destiny Heroes were next up in the tournament challenge. So next up would be the last locals I would play in. I was off to a really bad start though, especially when I misplayed against Connor, using... what was he using? Oh, I forgot. I should know this, since this was... well, I guess it was a couple of weeks ago now. Oh yeah, it was Adamancipators. Yeah, I misplayed in game 1 because I forgot to bring DPE back. And that basically cost me the game. And it was OTK'd in game 2. Then I lost against Tenyi Sword Soul, used by Matt, but at least I played better in that one than the previous round. Then I finally got a win in round 3 against Callum's Fire Warriors. And then of course the match that mattered, Endymion. Now despite dropping DPE and Destiny Hero Plasma turn 1, he was still able to break my board with Goddess of the Underworld. I guess it was only because I didn't use DP's effect, because I wasn't quite sure what to use it on. I was trying to wait for the right moment to use it, or what I felt would be the right moment, but I was just a little bit unsure. And that cost me at that moment, because he used DP as a link material for Goddess, which just threw me off. I was like, what? How did you use my monster? Yeah, that's one of its effects. If you link summon it, you can use one of your opponent's monsters, and then it attacked over the plasma. And I tried to turn things around on the following turn by bringing out dominance by sending Celestial, Draw Hand, and something else. I think the plan was to just crush dominance into her, bring back some Destiny Ears and get draws off Draw Hand and Disc Commander, but it didn't work, because what I also didn't know about Goddess was that it negates effects that special summon monsters from the grave, which I also didn't know. See, this is what happens when you don't read cards before doing something. But luckily I was able to defend myself on his next turn with a Dyna Tag, but he didn't seem to have a lot of plays, which was just as well, because I was able to turn the duel back around. I brought out Destiny Hero Dystopia, burnt him for 16, banished the Dyna Tag to get his attack points higher than the Goddesses and attack over, and then scooped. In Game 2 he made a board of Endymion, Master Cerberus, Necro Valley and Magician's Right Hand. And my hand consisted of Super Poly, Rota, Shadow Mist, and I think I had a Malicious. I'm pretty sure I had Destiny Draw in my hand as well. I can't remember. Normally in this situation, if I'm staring down in the gate, I would have summoned one of my Elemental Hero monsters and played the Super Poly, but rather annoyingly, there's a ruling where Magician's Right Hand can negate the effect of Super Poly. And you're probably wondering, well, how? Super Poly can't be negated. Nothing can chain to its activation. Well, apparently, Magician's Right Hand can still negate the effect. It doesn't negate initial activations, it just simply negates the effect, which I think is absolutely stupid and complete bullshit. Like, it shouldn't work like that. Because the idea of Super Poly is that it can't be countered in any way. It just annoys me that Magician's Right Hand can get round it. And it makes me hate the card even more. Luckily, I was able to play around it. So I activated Rota, and Right Hand had to negate it. Although Weber's 5 kind of regrets not using Endymion to do it, but would Endymion have worked in that situation though, due to the fact that Right Hand has to negate the first spell that gets played? I'm not sure. Like, I'm not quite sure of the ruling here. Like, I don't play the deck and I never will, so I wouldn't know. But that's what I'm assuming. Now that I baited in the gate, I normal summoned Shadow Mist and activated Super Polymerization and fused Shadow Mist with Endymion to make Starving Venom Fusion Dragon, and it gained the attack points of Master Cerberus. Then I was able to fusion summon DPE. And I ran over the Master Cerberus and then attacked directly with DPE, set D tactics and ended. Then on my turn, as I was saying, what did he play? He played Magister or Servant, and I changed DPE, destroyed the D tactics to destroy whatever pendulum he played, and then he threw in the towel, and I was like, yes, I finally won a match against Endymion. And yes, Destiny here has managed to achieve what none of my other decks could do in a 1v1 game. I mean, honestly, I would have preferred to get the win with Dark Magician, but I'll take it with Destiny Heroes. Yeah, I was just very happy. Like, it didn't matter how I did in the tournament overall. Like, defeating Endymion was all I cared about. And I decided to just go back into local tournament retirement. I achieved that goal, and like I said, I don't ever want to face Endymion or any meta deck ever again. And yet, afterwards, I still kept being questioned on whether I was gonna play in a local, or they weren't sure if I'd be in it. But like, I did say in 2 other videos that I'm not playing in tournaments anymore, like both the tournament report I did from that night and the discussion video I did last week, entitled Why It Is That I Keep Quitting Tournaments. Of course, that being said though, I still hadn't been able to use Galaxy Photon and Supreme Kings in a tournament of some kind. So I created another one, which was done around Express Gaming's place a few days ago actually. I called it a Tournament Battle Royal Gauntlet. Basically the idea is multiple players play in an odd number of battle royales, and whichever one gets the most wins wins the whole thing. So I decided to use Galaxy Photon and Supreme Kings because they were my last Epic Elite decks to go. And Magician Girls, because I wanted to win something with them. Yeah, and before that though, a few days beforehand, I used Speedroids in a Royal Rumble, because I decided to basically use Royal Rumbles to finish the tournament challenge. Yeah, Royal Rumbles are different from tournaments, but not necessarily. They're not that much different. I once described the Royal Rumbles as the next best thing to a tournament, and I was able to win one with Speedroids, despite Unchained Evil Twin and Raid Raptors causing problems. I don't know why I really used Speedroids really, when I should have used Galaxies or Supreme Kings. I guess I wanted to show off the newer cards, which I didn't have a chance to do against Express Gaming's Noble Knights. Anyway, back to the tournament Gauntlet Battle Royale. So yeah, I used Galaxies, Supreme Kings and Magician Girls. Gamer Central used Dark Magician, Ninjas and Dragon Maids, and Express Gaming used Blue Eyes, Noble Knights and hands. And as you probably saw, the first one ended very quickly because I bricked with galaxies. Like, I had the absolute worst hand ever. Like, a bunch of high-level monsters that are not Galaxy Soldier. So basically, some of my level 8s, Photon Vanisher and an unplayable spell. I think it was Galaxy Expedition. Gamer Central did a few things, but then he got OTK'd, and I just scooped. The following game went a lot smoother. This time it seemed that Express Gaming kind of bricked, but not that much, but he couldn't get off the usual plays. Gamer Central, though, had the nuts throughout most of that match, whereas I was slowly but surely building up to Zark, and I did manage to get him out, which made me so happy, because it's not an easy monster to bring out, and I was able to nuke Gamer Central's board, although he could have prevented me from doing that, because he had a Solemn Judgment face down, and he didn't use it to stop either the Pendulum Summon or the Tribute Summon of Chronograph Sorcerer. Yeah, it was that bad. I had to Tribute Summon Chronograph Sorcerer so I could get my plays off. I had a scale 1 and a scale 5, and I couldn't summon any level 6 or higher monsters through Pendulum Summon. My opening hand wasn't great, but I made do with what I had. But yeah, not activating Solemn Judgment kind of cost him, but he did sort of slow me down a little bit by chaining the Rust Mist trap, which halved Zark, and I couldn't get over Baguska with him, but Dark Rebellion Xyz Dragon did, because I summoned it before I dropped Zark, and that ninjutsu trap that I don't like just banished it and sealed the zone, but when I wiped his board it got rid of the trap and Dark Rebellion came back, and it got rid of the attack mode Baguska, and I managed to win that. Then the third one, me and Gamer Central got annoyed by there can only be one. Yeah, we were both playing Spellcaster decks, and it stopped us from being able to play. Well, we were able to do some things, but not a lot of things. We didn't see too many hand plays. We were able to counter every rank 4 play that was made, though, despite being in that condition. Gamer Central used Dark Magical Circle to banish There Can Only Be One, but then Express Gaming set another one and activated it on my turn, which just annoyed me, so I was like, right, that's it, gang up on Express Gaming. Now, I'm completely against ganging up normally, I do not condone it, but, like, we didn't have a choice. Like, he made himself a threat just because of that one card. We were able to take him out so that There Can Only Be One was no longer in effect, but I had to use so many resources to do it. Of course, Gamer Central was able to pop off, but I couldn't overcome Dark Magician, and he won the third game. So we had to do a tiebreaker. They stuck with the decks that they won with. I decided to be different and use my Galaxy Photon deck purely because I didn't have a chance to do anything with it. But rather annoyingly, right at the start, I bricked again 2 Vanishers, 2 trade-ins, and Monster Reborn. Express Gaming set up a board. I tried to use Monster Reborn to steal his blue eyes so I could have something, but he chained True Lights to bring it back, so I had to pass. The Gamer Central was able to set up a board as well, and then he was able to banish True Light, but before he could, Express Gaming got around it by tagging Spirit for Azure Eyes, so that True Light's negative effects just didn't destroy wait a minute, I've just remembered something. Something that came up as I was filming. Yeah, when the True Light got banished off Dark Magical Circle, it wouldn't have destroyed his monsters anyway. Because True Light says, if this face-up card is sent from the Spell and Trap Zone to the graveyard, destroy all monsters you control. I wish I knew that sooner. But thankfully, it wouldn't have changed anything. It didn't mess up the game state. So the True Light has one advantage over Eternal Soul. How is that fair? Why is it that Eternal Soul pops my monsters when it leaves the field by any means, except being spun back to the deck, yet the True Light's negative effect only kicks in if it's destroyed? That's absolute bullcrap. Anyway, back on topic though. I think they basically just went after each other, but I was able to turn things around by top-decking Galaxy Soldier. And I was like, yes, finally I can do something. And I was able to do my own plays. I cleared out the monsters. Oh yeah, I did a summary video on this on the team channel already, where I got out Galaxy Eye Cypher Dragon and used it to take his full armor, and then because his full armor then became Galaxy Eye Cypher Dragon, I was able to change that into my own full armor, which normally you cannot do, but because the name was different, I could do it. And then I made the mistake of using full armor to pop the only monster he had, because, like I said, if you use Galaxy Eye Cypher Dragon's effect to take control of a monster, only Galaxy Eye Cypher Dragon, as in the original, can attack directly. So I launched a direct attack at Express Gaming. He activated another True Light, brought back a Blue Eyes, so I went after Gamer Central. He took it, and end phase used Navigation to drop 2 Dark Magicians, which he then turned into a Big Eye, but I immediately popped it with Galaxy Eye Sulphur Dragon's effect, and he scooped, and I think Express Gaming scooped, so me and my team of decks managed to win. Yeah, it was great that I won something with Galaxy Photon. So my team of decks were able to win, even though it Magician Girls didn't. But rather annoyingly, I couldn't show those last two duels on camera because, again, both my camera batteries died, and the videos that I filmed on Express Gaming's camera got corrupted, hence why I did a summary of what happened with my Magician Girls and my Galaxies in that one. So even though the tournament challenge was officially over, it wasn't on camera. So again, I settled with a Raw Rumble, which happened last night. I was able to do the usual plays, but not the full combo with Afterglow, because I had no Galaxy-Eyes Photon Dragons in the deck, or my hand. But I was able to do loads of damage with Prime Photon Dragon, and I was happy that I actually got out Neo Galaxy-Eyes Photon Dragon, even though it got popped by Infernity Break, and I went out first, but at least I was able to play. And then of course in the second one, where I used Magician Girls, I was able to win. Like Light Swarms and Unchained Live Twin weren't easy to deal with, but I managed it. It was so close and intense, but I did it. I'm just buzzing and over the moon that I finally won something with Magician Girls. Like, it was long overdue. And yeah, that's the summary. That wraps up the tournament challenge of my Epic Elite decks. I think I've pretty much done everything I ever want to do with competitive play, really. But like I said, I will happily participate in any more Pegasus Challenge tournaments, whether they're at Dead Uni, or whether me and Express Gaming and even Gamer Central do them. If there's any more Speed Duel tournaments, I'll do those. And should Pass Format tournaments start up, I will definitely be up for those. But as for local tournaments, I just don't want to do them anymore. But I already talked about that in other videos. I just really don't want to. I want nothing more to do with competitive play, so I'll just actually be a 100% casual player. I'm just playing for the fun of it. And as it stands, I don't have that many decks now. The Magician Girls have been put away in the big blue binder for now. Galaxies and Supreme Kings have been put in my binders, of course, for sale. Not on here, of course. But that's not what I want. So now the only current active current format decks are the usual three: Blackluster Soldier, Egyptian Gods, Legendary Knight, Stardust Junk, and Cat. I want to get a few more games in with BLS and Stardust Junk and Cat, because why not? Legendary Knight I want to try and win a match with before putting them away, and I want to get a win with Egyptian Gods against one of Brian's decks, just to prove that the deck is not cringe. And then I think at some point I'll get out some other decks that I just want to play again for the fun of it. Rockets, Crystal Beasts, Generic Warriors, Gagagars, and a 1 copy per card Yuya deck. Playing with those again would be nice. Oh yeah, and you know how I said in that summary video I did on Team Sorcerers, and how I mentioned that I was going to get a tripod for my iPad? Well, I bought one the other day. I've actually just noticed this thing on the side. I don't actually know what that is. Is this a camera? I have no idea. Or is it a remote control for a camera? I don't know. Don't know if I'll use it though. Here's the other bit. So yeah, the plan is to whenever I go to see Express Gaming and Gamer Central, I'll bring that along, because I always bring my iPad anyway to film Mad Libs videos. So once all my camera batteries die, then I'll just switch over to that and set it up, just because I think it's a lot easier, and yeah, it's a very reliable recording device actually. Maybe I should just fill all my tools with that in the future. I don't know. The only problem is any videos I film with the iPad I have to put on my Mac, because it's easier to send photos and videos to that, and then as a result I have to either edit videos on the Mac or use a USB stick to transfer video files from the Mac to my PC. It's like, yeah, it's a handful, I know. But never mind, hey, as long as it works. Yeah, I think that's a definite plan, especially if this camera ends up breaking or malfunctioning, which always seems to happen with my cameras eventually. They just mysteriously break or malfunction, or both. Of course, there is also my phone, but it's not ideal. Like, big thanks to Dan though for offering to let me use his phone tripod should all my batteries die. That's another thing. I think that's what I'll do, but I just remembered that I have a phone tripod of my own, so I think I'll bring this to game nights and just do that. But thank you anyway, Dan, that's very kind of you to help me out there. And yeah, that's all I wanted to talk about. Yeah, thanks for watching, stay safe, and I'll catch you guys later. See ya. Thank you very much for watching. Be sure to subscribe to the Dark Magician YouTube channel.